Beautiful.
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 Oh, thank you.
Handsome.
Handsome guy.
So, thank you for being here. Starting again.
Okay.
So, thank you for being here with us today. First of all, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, hello. My name is Daniel. I'm from England. I'm 26 years old. I've been living in Hanoi for a month and a half. Currently I'm teaching English. I'm a graduate from the University of Nottingham with a bachelor's in theology and a master's in politics.
Oh, thank you. So, the topic today is monarchy. We just want to hear your opinion about this. Just feel free to express your opinions. Are you ready?
Yes, yes.
Let's start with the first question. What kind of monarchy exists in your country?
In the United Kingdom, we have what's called a constitutional monarchy, which is a monarchy that has very little power over legislation that's enacted. Typically, the Houses of Parliament, the House of Commons, pass a law, pass legislation, and then that needs to be ratified by the monarch, who currently is the Queen. The Queen appoints a Prime Minister to form a government. So the government is technically called Her Majesty's government. However, the monarch has very little power to actually dissolve Parliament itself.
So, how long has it existed? And can you name some dynasties and monarchs that you know?
Sure. So traditionally, people date the monarchy back to around 1066, which was when the Normans, who were French, came over and conquered. I think his name was Edward or something. And so that was William the Conqueror. He was Norman, he was French. 1066. So that's when traditionally people start the kind of the royal family from. So there were the Norman conquerors who conquered England and Wales, but Scotland was separate. And then in maybe the 14th or 15th century, there was the Duke of Lancaster, who laid claim to the throne, and they were called the Tudors. And then there was also the House of York, and they were the Stuarts. They were rival claims to the throne. The House of Tudor was successful, and King Henry VIII became king for, I don't know how long, but that dynasty died when Elizabeth, Henry VIII's daughter, didn't have any children. There was a Scottish king, King James, who became king of England and Scotland. Then there was a civil war. Oliver Cromwell became first protector, Lord Protector. So he wasn't king, but he was essentially kind of like a military ruler. Then he died, and Britain regained its monarchy, and from then on we've had what is effectively a constitutional monarchy. So Parliament has most of the power, pretty much all of the power, and the monarchy just exists as a kind of a head of state for kind of state ceremonies and functions.
Okay, I see.
So, yeah, are there any other particular monarchs that you'd like to ask about, or? Queen Elizabeth II. to them.
I want to know about her life and what say contribution she has made to the country.
Well, she grew up during the Second World War, which would have been an educational experience for her. It would have made her more, I suppose, resilient and also more aware of the needs of the general population because it was a tough time. She came to the throne in 1952, I believe. She has reigned ever since. She's had several children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So yeah, so I think, how many years is that? 60 years, 63 years. So yes, she's one of the longest serving monarchs in British history. She's been around the world. She's been almost to every country. And yes, she's getting old.
As you mentioned about that the kind of monarchy in your country is a constitutional monarchy, and I'm just wondering that the Queen and the Constitution exist together, while the Constitution is a set of law. Then what is the role of the Queen in your country?
So Britain doesn't actually have what you would call a constitution. It's not like Vietnam or the United States or other countries, other republics that have a constitution. We have no one document to refer to. It's an unwritten constitution, exactly. So the constitution is effectively things like the Magna Carta, which was an ancient document written up by lords in order to take away power from the king. The Habeas Corpus Act, what else? The Bill of Rights. These are all measures passed by political figures and the Houses of Parliament in order to wrest power from the monarchy and the monarch. And also there's not only are there those groups of sets of laws, but there's also kind of precedents and convention. So convention is that the monarch has little role to play in the day-to-day governing of the country, and if that were to change, then it would break with convention, it would break with precedent, so it's unlikely for that to happen. But there is you're right, there is a conflict, there is a tension, because although in effect there is no real power for the monarch, technically they could, if they wished, dissolve Parliament. They could rule absolutely, but that is a very unlikely scenario. So much so that nobody really has to care about it. But that said, it's an anachronism. Do you know what I mean by anachronism? So it seems historically out of place. So we look at the modern world. Modern democracies are all based on modern republics all have like a constitution, a president as head of state who is elected, and so to have an ancient royal family with no kind of accountability, it does seem anachronistic, but so far it hasn't proved too problematic.
So the easy question was that what is the role of the Queen in the country?
Her role is largely ceremonial, so So yeah, so in occasions where the head of state would be present, so in times of remembrance, so when the country remembers people who have died or fought in wars, the Queen acts as a head of state to represent the country exactly. Also for foreign visits, she will act as head of state to sit with foreign dignitaries, presidents, heads of state, other members of other royal families, and that's a more kind of a ceremonial activity.
More like a symbol of the country.
Exactly, yes. Also, there's a large kind of tourist aspect, like a tourism aspect. People want to come see Buckingham Palace, and they want to see the guards, the Queen's guards. So actually also, although that's a separate kind of function from the day-to-day intense work.
So the next question is, what value do you think the Queen and the royal family have brought to Britain?
Economically, tourism is a big factor, and if we didn't have the royal family, then we would have to rely on the weather, which isn't very good. So that brings in a lot of tourists, a lot of American tourists. They love the royal family. What else? It's difficult to try and think of what other value they bring. I suppose I suppose there's a certain value to be had in that there's no need to expend resources on political campaigns, because there's only going to ever be one head of state, and that can't change. So there's no fighting, there's no kind of political animosity other than for the actual parliament, which is separate from the head of state, if you understand. So the Queen is effectively president in that she's the head of state, but she's not an executive, she doesn't pass any laws. But she also takes money from the taxpayer. So I think it's about 20 to 30 million every year, 20 to 30 million pounds or more. She also owns quite a lot of land herself, with land which could be distributed to other people. So there are values and there are negative aspects of the royal family as well.
Well, what do you think about the future of the monarchy? Do you think that it should exist or not, while many countries in the world are democratic nowadays?
So that word democratic, the United Kingdom is also democratic in that people are allowed one vote in order to vote for a political party, and the party will decide which laws are enacted. The Queen has no say in which laws are enacted. So you couldn't really say that the country isn't democratic. However, the monarchy isn't democratic. You can't choose who becomes the monarch, who becomes king or who becomes queen. And that does seem unusual in the modern world. I personally don't think it's a good thing, the monarchy, because it does seem antiquated, very old, an ancient practice, quite traditional, but also when I think the alternative would be President Tony Blair or President David Cameron, then I think perhaps it's not such a bad thing.
I see. Here are the two extra questions. I think that the audience want to hear from you. Why does the British Prime Minister continue to advise and request the Queen when everybody knows that he or she is really telling her what to do?
Okay, so formally we use the words advise and request because formally, technically, the government is Her Majesty's. It is the government that belongs to the King or Queen. However, it's just polite. It's just polite. In Britain, we're a very polite nation. We hate to offend anybody, and so we would hesitate to use words like instruct or tell the Queen. It would always be advise and request because it's more civil to do so.
Okay, I know. And the last question, a very difficult one and very long. The attitude of the British people towards the royal family has changed over the last quarter of the 20th century. In what way has it changed? And what demonstrates that there has been a change? Why do you think this has happened?
Okay. Yes, that is a long question. The attitude towards the British monarchy has changed among the British people for a variety of reasons. Perhaps 20 or 30 years ago, they weren't very popular because they had a lot of negative press. Prince Charles and Prince Diana had divorced. The Queen was seen as distant and not very warm. But since then, Princess Diana died, so people felt very emotional. There's the children or grandchildren, Prince William and Prince Harry, have gone through school, gone through university, gone into the military. So some people found that they warmed to them in particular, and that they, that they took an interest in their lives. Also, now William and Kate have got married, and everybody loves a wedding. Now they've had a child as well. Everybody loves babies. So, and also as the Queen gets older, she becomes more and more like a grandmother. I think more of a figure that is more warm and a character that people would like to get to know. So, and also the media have helped facilitate this different image of the royal family. So they used to be seen as worthless, but now the media have made them the most important thing in British culture. So exactly, they become increasingly popular. So those are the reasons why I think there has been a change, and there definitely has been a change.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions we want to ask. Thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.
Help us.
Okay, that's all.